Okay, so we're going to start just like we normally would in math with a complex problem. Right now you're going to pause the video and you're going to solve this problem and check your answer once you're done solving. Okay, if I'm about to solve this problem, I am going to think back to Friday when I learned that volume is length times width times height. We can also put the length and the width together for our base times height. So those are our two equations for volume. Remember, when I say the base, that was like your first layer that you found in your rectangular prism. And so when I'm looking at this, I'm going to count to find the length first. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is my length. My width, or how wide it is 1, 2, 3. And my height is how tall it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I have these three numbers, I can multiply them together to find the volume. 5 times 5 is 25. Times 3, I might have to set this up in my box, or I can use the standard algorithm. 6. The volume is 75 centimeters cubed. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video and write this objective down in your notebooks. Today we're going to deal with two rectangular prisms that are smushed together, and we're going to have to find the volume of both of those prisms. And so one thing to remember about rectangles is that the opposite side of the rectangle has the same exact length. So this length is 3. I know on a rectangle the opposite length, this is actually 3. If this length is 8, I know that the opposite side of that is also 8. And then if this side is 5, I know that the opposite of this is 5. So looking at this rectangular prism, I know that this line is 8, this line is 8, also this back one is also 8. The sides don't change in a rectangle. The opposite side is always identical to the other side. So this side of 8 inches, this side is now 8 inches. Okay, so today when we're looking at this, we're going to have to remember that. Okay, so if I'm looking at this, I built these prior to doing this, so you could see them. So this first one here is 3 meters in length, 2 meters in width, and 7 meters tall in this one. And this one is the exact same one. We see that we have the same here. So to find the volume, I know that I multiplied these three numbers together. So I have 7 times 3 times 2, which 3 times 2 is 6 times 7 is 42 meters cubed, because they're labeled in meters. Okay, so I know that each of these have a volume of 42 meters cubed separately. So what if I put them together? What would the volume of this be? Well, if the blue one was 42 meters cubed and the red one was 42 meters cubed, the thing that I would do is I would add the 42 plus 42. Which gives me 84 meters cubed for this whole rectangular prism smushed together. So today, when you're looking at rectangular prisms, there's going to be more than one. So you need to find the volume of one rectangular prism, the volume of the other, and then add them together. So let's take a look at this one here. And I'm going to use different color markers to help you see the two rectangular prisms. So the first one I see is this tiny one up on top. That is one of the rectangular prisms. And I know how to find the volume for rectangular prism. I take my length, which is 3, times my width, which right here doesn't have a number on it. However, I know in a rectangle that these 3 lines are actually the exact same measurement. So this side happens to be 5. And I times it by my height, which is right here, 2. 15 times 2 equals 30 inches cubed. So that's that first rectangular prism. My second one is down below here. And this has a length of 6, a width of 5, and a height of 4. So to find this one, I'm going to multiply these together. 5 times 4 is 20, times 6 is 120 inches cubed. So once I have the blue shape down and the red shape, to find the volume of this complete shape, I'm going to add both of these volumes together. So it's 30 inches plus 120. That gives me a total of 150 inches cubed. Okay? I'm getting this inches from how my numbers are already labeled. So when we're using cubes, those are centimeters. Here, this one's labeled in inches. You just have to make sure that you have this tiny little 3 because you're multiplying 3 numbers together. Let's try another one. Actually, I want you to pause the video right now and I want you to try to solve this by yourself. Okay, let's check your work here. So if I'm looking at this bottom rectangle, I see that the length of this rectangle is 6, the width of it is 2, and the height is 2, giving me 24 meters cubed for this bottom rectangle. If I'm looking at this top rectangle, I notice that this whole side is 4, okay? And so I don't know just this length quite yet. But if this whole thing is 4, and it says over here that this is 2, so I know that the opposite of this side has to be 2. And the whole thing equals 4, I notice that 2 is missing up here because 2 plus 2 equals 4. Okay, and so for the height of this box, it's actually 2. For the width, or how deep it goes, again, remember this line is the same as all 3 of these lines, which has a 2 labeled on it. And then we need our length, which is right here. And I notice that this side is all 6 meters, and the opposite of this side has to be 6 meters. And so if this is already 4 meters, 6 minus 4 is 2. So a 2 goes right there. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8 meters cubed. And so I have to 24 plus 8 for my volume is 32 meters cubed. Okay, so as you're working through these today, make sure that you break it up because you know how to find the volume of one rectangular prism. This just happens to be 2 smushed together. And so as you're finding them for the whole shape, make sure you do one at a time.